When you came to this country, how much did you have in your account?
Did I even have an account? And I worked as a security guard for one company in Ghana for like 6 months. I didn't get paid a dime.
We see people travel to a different country, and all we see is like the result of all the hard work that they put in place.
Yeah, because they will show you the hard work.
we
That's the
don't see
thing.
what
Yeah.
people have. Is there something that changed along the way that made you?
If anything, I'll probably say you were talking about like we becoming resilient, right? And I have a question for you on that. Did we already come here with that resilience?
It can be yes or no.
Did you come here with that resilience?
I would say both. I
Okay.
came with some, and I also forged some. I didn't come here with a lot of technological like expertise, right? I only knew a few things about computers, but when I came here, I had to learn because I knew. Imagine you wake up in a new country where your skills are not transferable. You don't have any contacts. You don't, like, your degree doesn't really count in that country or wherever you find yourself. What is one thing that you're going to do to rebuild your life to be successful? And today that's something that we are going to talk about. I'm here with Ken. My name is Smith. This is the Success Mindset Podcast. Today we are talking about success stories from immigrants. And you don't necessarily have to be an immigrant. Think about the bridge that you need to cross to become successful. Maybe your boundaries is not necessarily traveling to a different country, but starting a new adventure, starting a new business. Maybe you can learn one or two things from the stories that we share today.
What story do you want me to share?
When you came to this country, how much did you have in your account?
Oh, did I even have an account?
That's a good.
The only amount of money I had in my bank account back in Ghana was probably what I used to prepare to come here, like to pay for the service fee. And then, I mean, the visa interview alone, I think, was what took out my money. It was like $200. Converting it to Ghana cedis was what I had in my bank account. Because what was I even doing back then? So I was working as a volunteer for the Perpetual Education Fund. And as a volunteer, you don't get paid, but you do get, how do I call it, like compensated, right? So it's like you get money for food, you get money for transportation, and then, you know, there's a little bit, if you're able to manage it, that you can like save gradually, you know, but it wasn't a lot. And so like that bit that I had was kind of what I was putting in the bank account. And that wasn't the only thing I was doing. I was kind of like doing other voluntary stuff as well. And I worked as a security guard for one company in Ghana for like 6 months. I didn't get paid a dime during that time I worked. So it was like the excess amount that I will even have from, so it was, I'll work security like in the mornings, and then during the day, I'll go and then do the voluntary stuff. And so like the money I'll get from there, I'll use some for transportation to go to where I was like doing the security job. And then I was hoping they'll pay me. Payment wasn't coming. And I wasn't paid until like after a year. And it wasn't even like the full payment. But I was like,
Interesting.
You know what, I'm not going to waste my time on this. Because I was like, I was preparing to get into college, and I was focused. I was like, I wasn't going to let certain things, you know, kind of stand in the way, going to go chase payments for a job that was done. But so that was kind of how it was for me. And then when I got here, then I was like, okay, let me open a bank account, because I go here and I got a job. And my first job here was as a custodian on campus. And it was, I mean, I wouldn't say it was a bad job. For me, it was like really good. I wanted to work, because that was kind of like one of my goals coming, is like, I'll need to be able to work so that I can take care of myself. I wasn't going to depend on anybody. So getting that job was good. Waking up early in the morning at like 4 a.m. custodian job, you know, go do that. And then after that, come back to my apartment, get ready. And then from there, go to my classes, you know, and like By the time you even go to bed, I don't even know if we're sleeping. It was crazy. But I guess like we're sleeping in between some of our classes too, right? So it was, yeah, we weren't really like paying attention on getting like 8 hours of sleep. That didn't really matter at that time. I think at that time it was like getting things done, making sure we had things in place so that like, you know, we can have the future that like we now have, you know, have a full-time job after college and be able to take care of yourself and also like your family. So
I mean that's a very good context, like going more details into, like I know like people can actually relate to what you're sharing, and I think that's very important. Sometimes we see people travel to a different country and all we see is like the result of all the hard work that they put in place.
Yeah, because they will show you the hard work. That's the thing. Yeah, they will show you the hard work.
Gone through. And as you mentioned, like when you came here, barely nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is there something that changed along the way that made you get to this point that you are right now?
I don't think there was one particular thing that changed. If anything, I'll probably say, like I kept growing, right? I kept desiring to be better than, you know, I was when I first came here.
Yeah.
Right. It's like I had a goal coming in here, and my goal was to improve, you know, to be better, to be able to put myself in a situation where I can provide for myself. Because back home, I was relying on my parents, right? It's like I'll go home and my parents will have to cook for me. I was living with my parents back then. And it's like, I was like, no, I need to separate myself. You know, I need to challenge myself. I was like, I understood it wasn't going to be easy. My parents were like, yeah, you're taking like there's a big risk that you're taking, like,
yeah,
you know, coming here on your own, like your family is not here and it's just you. Like, how are you going to make it? But I mean, I think on campus also having friends and like, you know, having mentors and like good professors that kind of understood when certain things came up,
yeah,
you know, also helped push me to be able to succeed. So yeah, it wasn't just one thing that changed, but I feel there was a accumulation of a lot of things that came together to be able to help me to succeed.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like so I was reading about this research by the Kauffman Foundation. They were talking about like immigrants make up 14% of the entire population of the U.S., but like almost 25% are entrepreneurs, like who own businesses. So even though like people come into this country with barely nothing, but they end up like either starting a business, they're more likely to start a business or do something that will make them successful, take advantage of the things here that people like natives actually take it for granted.
As you're saying that, I was like, yeah, when people say we come here to take their jobs, I think it's probably true. Right? Because we sit in our country and we look out here and we're like, we see opportunities that we want to come and take.
Yeah.
And when you have that mindset before you come here, once you get here and you focus, like that's what you chase, right? You want to grab those opportunities. So I think that research really makes sense to me.
Yeah, but I also think like certain characteristics like resiliency, like being resilient and not giving up. Like if you see your current situation, maybe you're not traveling outside the country, like wherever you are, but if you see your current situation as a failure, then it blocks you, right? But if you see it as an opportunity for you to grow, like when you're talking, you mentioned like you wanted to grow, right? You wanted to expand your knowledge. You wanted to become more resourceful. I think those are the times that when things are hard, that's when we need to actually sit back and maybe recalibrate our emotional intelligence or like our mental capacity to say, hey, this is what I have currently. This is my situation. How can I grow to become like this person that I want to become, right?
Yeah, I think with that, you were talking about like we becoming resilient, right? And I have a question for you on that. Did we already come here with that resilience?
Oh, that's a good question. It can be yes or no.
So did you come here with that resilience already?
I would say both. I came
Okay.
with some, and I also forged some.
So do you think your life back in Ghana kind of prepared you for
Yes.
challenges that you're gonna face here?
Yes, I will tell you a story. So when I was in Ghana, after high school, I went on an LDS mission. When I came back, there was literally no job for me to do, and I wanted to work. I didn't want to go to school right away. I wanted to make money, right? I wanted to be able to take care of myself. So I worked with my dad for some time. He owned, let me just say, a construction management company.
Okay.
So he will supply materials to big companies, even the government, to like construct road and like other materials that they need. So that's what I was doing with him. But like working with him taught me that, oh, he actually started with nothing,
Okay.
right? But he's been able to build like a very big network of people that he works with. They are always asking him for like supplies. And so I learned that from him. I'm like, okay, so if I'm able to build networks, that's gonna take me far to places. That's just one example. Before I also went to high school, I was selling donuts with my mom.
Okay.
And sometimes you take like we didn't have like a place that we put and people will come. You have to take it to your customers. And so I will look at places where they are more likely to buy the donuts. So I'll go to like construction workers,
Okay.
like masons.
Yeah.
At like around 12 o'clock, I'm there because I know they'll be hungry.
That's their lunchtime.
That's their lunchtime. And the donut was so good, they will buy all of it sometimes. And sometimes too, they don't go to work. So I had to like find another way to sell the donut before I go home, because my mom would be like, oh, you went to play soccer. That's why you didn't sell the donut, you know? And so I look at those things at like preparations for me, because like right now here, if something goes wrong, I'm not just gonna back up and say, well, it didn't work out, so I'm gonna just give up.
Okay.
Because I know I've learned from experience that when you put your mind at something and you work at it, it's gonna be successful. Like I learned all those things from there.
Okay.
Right? But the reason why I also said I forged some, like I didn't come here with a lot of technological like expertise, right? I only knew a few things about computers. But when I came here, I had to learn, because I knew like, and I realized, oh, this is the market in this country. Like tech is a big thing. And so I had to like learn, fail, relearn, and like become really good at what I'm good at today. So like sometimes you bring some qualities, but you also forge some along the way.
Okay. I mean, that's a really good point. And then sharing that, like, yeah, you had to learn, IT because we're in that vest in it, like coming here. And I feel the quality behind that, you probably developed back home. The quality behind that, you didn't develop here. You already had that quality. But when you came here,
Quality, what do you mean?
so let's say your desire to learn,
Okay.
when things are not going the way that you're used to, it's like, how good are you at switching to something else?
Yeah.
Right. And that reminds me of like stories I've heard back home, which almost always center around like people don't want to do things that it's like it's going to get their hands dirty, right? Like do like grounds work. Everybody kind of wants like white collar jobs, sit in the office, sit behind a computer, right? It's like, oh, I should go and do that. Nah, that's like dirty work. Like, yeah, like I don't want to do that, right? But then you look at it and you're like, okay, when you are in a circumstance or in a situation where it's like, that is what you need to do, will you be able to do it? Are you going to do it? Like, are you going to step away from that comfort zone when you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this? Or are you going to be like, okay, I think I need to do this at this time to get me to where I want to go, right? Because it's like, you did custodial work, I did custodial work. A lot of us come here and a lot of people are like, yeah, you go to the US and then you go and brush horse's teeth or whatever. And like, you go and clean, restrooms. And people are like, oh, really? That's what they do. And like, I'm like, but you look at it, you're like, yeah, you do that, you get paid. It's not like you're not getting paid. No, you get paid good. And that is not where you're like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. No, that's a means to
the end.
No, not an end, to a different beginning.
Okay.
Right? Because that is not what you want to do. But at that time, you see yourself like, oh, yes, I can also do this to get me to where I want to go. And so I feel a lot of times that's what happens to most of us when we come here, like having that quality of being able to see an opportunity and taking that opportunity at that time and not being like, no, this opportunity is not for me.
Yeah, and I think you're talking about curiosity as well. Like, I am a very curious person. Like, I don't know when I started learning that, but I remember, like, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, I had a cousin who was really, really brilliant. Like, he will come up with all this electronic, like, programming and build, like, stuff from, like, robots, from, like, milk cans.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
He would cut them into pieces, like, build motors into them. And, like, I was like, how does he do that? So I learned a lot from him. Like, I want to learn, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, and I became very curious. Like, my first computer that I got, I just like dismantled it and rebuilt it again, just so like I can learn, like, okay, how does computer even work, right? I also remember, so we had this big, video recorder. I think it was Panasonic, like a different brand like that, but it was big. You can, the VHS tapes.
Yeah.
So you can, cassettes. So you can actually watch videos and record while you're watching.
Okay.
And so one day, I don't know what happened, but it wasn't working. And I opened it up, I opened it up. I wanted to fix it. Like, why is it not working? I couldn't fix it. And I got in trouble. Like,
open it up.
Yeah, my dad actually disciplined me. My mom saw me doing it, and she told me, like, if you are not able to fix it, you're going to get it. I was like, oh, I can do it. But I wasn't able to do it before my dad came home, and I got punished for that. But I fixed it later on. It took me some time to fix it because he was like, you either fix it or we are not buying a new one, Yeah. And I like to watch movies, so it took me some time. I think I went to one guy like that. He was like also a technician.
Okay.
And I asked him, like, hey, I broke my dad's video recorder. Like, can you help me fix it? And then he taught me, like, how to fix it. And so, like, from childhood, I've always been curious, like, how do things actually work? How can I reinvent it? How can I re-engineer stuff? And I think that has helped me, like, even in computing, because if you're not curious when it comes to, like, computer stuff, you're not gonna be like, you'll not be able to make it.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes we think these things are God-given gifts. Sometimes they are true, but you can also learn them.
True.
Yeah, like you don't have to be born with all the gifts in the world. You can develop this gift. Like it's a mindset that you can actually develop.
That's a really, really good point. And thanks for sharing that story, because remind me, I feel like a lot of people can actually relate to that. It was like growing up, like, I broke it. You see, like, all the, the cassette recorders, and it's like we always get into them. Like, we always, like, break them apart. And it's like, sometimes you even walk outside and then you go to, like, the refuse dump and stuff, and then, like, go and then, like,
and then fix it. Like, something that's broken. Like, you see people fixing, like, things that are broken. I think that's genius. And we don't really take advantage of some of these things.
And it kind of baffles me, though, because, like, we'll go in and gather all of them, bring them home, and, like, your parents will be like, like, in fancy, they'll say, like, what are you doing with all this garbage? And then, like, you put them down, go to sleep, wake up the next morning, and your mom has thrown them away again. So as you're saying, like, sometimes it's a gift, but I feel we being born in, like, third world countries kind of gave us that.
No, they say if you want to be politically correct, you say developing countries. So that we don't get cancelled.
So not a third world country.
I mean, that's what they say.
Developing country.
Yes.
I mean, we can go really down that whole end.
That's off topic.
When we come to development, like there's a lot that goes on around there. Like personally to me, I'm like, I feel we were developed in so many different ways that other countries were not. But they will look down and say third world country. And so,
well, again, in terms of industrialization or what?
Even industrializations, right? Because we had a lot of like big companies that were running back then, and then in the end, they kind of all collapsed. Like, they weren't really managed well, and so it's like we have a lot of like technical schools that were like producing people that were really skilled.
Yeah,
and so like we had the opportunity to have like so many gadgets. Like, come to think about it, it's like, how will you even be having computers in a third world country? In a developing country, like, what are they using computers for? We had like constant electricity, right? Like, you'll be able to sit out at night and then be studying and be figuring stuff out.
So it's redeveloping countries.
A redeveloping country, I think I'll accept that. But so I'm saying, it's like, we'll have opportunities to like, get our hands on like so many things that we'll get into. Like, maybe we didn't even think about it as like our parents are going to get upset.
Yeah.
But we thought, I can do this. Like, I want to do this. I feel it's like a natural gift that probably God just gave it to us. It's like, okay, this is what you have.
Yeah.
Like, what can you do with what you have? And I think that's a really good thing that a lot of us, maybe sometimes we forget about. But if we sit down and like remember where we came from, the qualities that we have now, where did we start developing those qualities from? Are we currently just like ignoring, the talents that we used to kind of brag about, so much back then? Because I bet you there are a lot of people growing up back then that were like good dancers, like good singers, like they were really good at fixing things, really good at like arranging things, or really good at like planting, like farming and stuff like that. But now I bet you they probably like ignored all those things, and they will sit down and be like, I feel like my life has no meaning, or like I'm not happy in life. That's because the core things that make us, we've been able to get to a certain point where instead of us embracing those core values, we've kind of left them behind. And then we kind of feel like, oh, well, I think I've made it here, so that is it. I've made it. And then like we just sit down and fold our arms. But that's not how it should be. We should go back and always remember those qualities. I feel it comes from being grateful. If we forget to be grateful for the things that we've gone through and how far we've come, we'll forget all those blessings that we've had.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point you're making, like core values. Let me just put a name, like let me just call it identity, right? Something that identifies you is a great asset. And sometimes we tend to chase the flashy things that we see, that we sometimes forget our identity.
I mean, don't you like the flashy things?
They are comfortable things, like they are fun,
There's nothing wrong with chasing the flashy things, though.
But like chasing it at the expense of forgetting your identity or leaving your identity behind makes you lack certain things in life. Like we need to be able to embrace our identity and use it to our advantage. Like the values that you're talking about. Like some people are born with that great mindset. That's who you are.
Yeah.
Use it to your advantage, right?
Yeah.
Some people are born with curiosity. Some people are born with wisdom. Some people are born with like speaking different languages. Use it to your advantage, you know. But I feel like you mentioned, we tend to focus so much on the things that the Western world is like throwing at us, and it makes us forget who we really are and how we can like use it to our advantage.
Yeah, you know, one thing that's been coming to my mind throughout this week is something that we're taught a lot on mission. When people were not being able to like have baptisms or like convert people to the gospel, and then in order for them to make the commitment to be baptized, they were always kind of like sad. And one thing the mission person always said was, don't compare yourself to people. And I feel that that's like part of our life. No matter what you look at, it's going to be part of you. If we compare ourselves to others, we will never be happy. And I think that's one thing that makes people leave their identity and try to chase something that they are not. It's like, oh, I see this person. Oh, I want to be like that person. But that is not who you are. Why are you comparing yourself to that person? You know, be yourself. Like, don't change. Have that identity. And they say like comparison is like what? The thief of joy. Yeah. So like we should stop comparing ourselves and then be grateful for who we are.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about maybe traveling to a different country or starting a new adventure that you're not sure of, you know, like this is a good reminder to focus on who you really are, what you have, and use it to your advantage. In the next segment, we are going to talk about also like setbacks, because right now we are painting things as if everything is like roses here, you know. But what are some of the setbacks that you faced when you came to this country, and what changed? How did you overcome them?
I think looking back, one of the biggest setbacks that I would say is, I know I've like kind of mentioned it before in one of our episodes, but kind of briefly, was, you know, going to college and then thinking of graduating, right? You get to more of like the third year, get into your fourth year, and you're thinking of, oh, I need to like do an internship. Yeah. And sometimes even like when you start your first year, it's behind your mind. It's like, I want to do as many internships as possible. But when you get to like your 30 and that hasn't happened, that kind of becomes worrying. And that was kind of like it for me, you know, because just like you, I had maybe like 10% knowledge in the degree that I was pursuing, which was in like IT, you know, field. And it was hard, like sitting in class and being like, I think I can understand what this teacher is teaching. But at the same time, like, if he tells me to do it,
You can't do it.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. Yeah. And then being in class and like having, you know, all these classmates like asking questions, giving contributions, and like, you know, you look at the projects they are bringing out, and you're like, how are they able to do that? You know, and like your mind just keeps going. It's like, will I be able to succeed? Will I be able to succeed? But as you keep going, you know, and being like, yeah, I'm on this road, and like I'm not going to give up. And then you get to where you need to like do your internship, and like you've applied to so many internships, and like they just keep rejecting you. You keep going to like interviews, and they're like, yeah, you don't know enough code for us to like hire you. And you're like, I don't know enough code. Am I really going to be able to do this? And then in the end, you get to a point where you have to settle for unpaid internship, right? Because a lot of companies are like providing opportunities for students, and even though they cannot pay you, they still want you to come and then learn, right? Some may say that that's a setback, because it's like, oh, you didn't get like a good enough start to your career, whereas like you're showing like you have value. But for me, it was an opportunity, not a setback. It was an opportunity for me to like show that, yeah, I want to really sacrifice to succeed. Yesterday I was listening to someone, like one Ghanaian person on like YouTube, and it's like a radio show. And then what she was saying was like, whenever you pray, you always have to sow a seed so that your prayers can be answered. And I was like, sow a seed? And I know we hear a lot of that in Ghana, which is more of like, oh, when you pray, you have to like give offering to kind of show that, yeah, you are really determined for your prayer to work. And sowing a seed, most times you may think it's like paying money, you know, like paying an offering. But a lot of times it's also, what are you willing to sacrifice so that you succeed? And success always requires sacrifice. It requires sacrificing your time. It requires sacrificing your resources. It requires sacrificing yourself, right? Because think about it, like doing an unpaid internship and you have to drive for an hour back and forth.
Yeah.
So that just to complete an internship, and doing that for 4 months. You know, you sit down and be like, yeah, why am I even going to get the money to get fuel into my car to drive back and forth? How am I going to eat? How am I going to provide for myself? But I saw that, yeah, these people are giving me an opportunity and I can take this and learn whatever they want me to learn from the task that will be given me whilst I keep going there. And also, as you mentioned, and sharing that story about your dad, was he had connections. He had people that will come to him and then patronize his business. You do unpaid internship, you make good connections. Yeah. People look at you and they see your attitude and like, this person works hard, even though you are not getting paid. A lot of people will notice that. And it will go a long way, even when you are done with that and then you try to apply for a job. And then you put on your resume, oh, I did this as an unpaid internship, right? Interviewer will look at it and it will stand out to them because that will show them that you have a quality that other people do not have. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's not more of a setback to me. A lot of people might see it like that, but I feel it was an opportunity to help me grow.
Yeah, but it was challenging, right?
It was challenging.
What was going through your mind? Like, okay, I'm doing an unpaid internship. Like, how was it feeling? Like, right now you're reflecting and seeing it as, oh, this was a good opportunity. But in that moment, how was it?
It was like, you know, from like what I was sharing is like, you look at yourself and you feel, I am not good enough at this thing that I want to do. That is why people don't want to pay me to do an internship with them. Oh. Right? So for me, that was like, the thing that came to the back of my mind immediately was like, oh, I'm not good enough. But then I was like, well, I am who I am now. Because I'm not good enough now doesn't mean I cannot be good enough in the future. So if now I'm not good enough, that's fine. You know, I'll find something else to do. And then when I get better, I'll keep pushing ahead.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Like being able to adapt and recognize your own like weaknesses and finding ways to improve them like pays a lot of dividends, you know. And like you're saying, like you saw it as an opportunity. You saw it as, this is a way for me to get better. Like you recognize that, oh, I'm not really good at this, but there's so much opportunity for me to get better, even within a short time, like 4 months, right? And as we go along with this conversation, we'll talk about like currently what we are doing so that you get a better picture of, oh, okay, this is where these guys started and this is where they are right now. So that I think that would be more relatable. And like you mentioned, I went home like last December to spend time with family, and my younger brother was driving us along. All along, I didn't drive. I didn't want to drive, right? But he drove us all around, and something that was very, very interesting to me was, like, in Ghana, the police will stop you, check your license and everything.
Yeah.
So I asked my brother, why are they not stopping us? And my brother said, oh, Dad knows all of them. In fact, they know, like, as soon as they see his car coming, they know him.
They know, okay.
And, like, going back to the story I was talking about, he has made so many connections with people that, one, he's established a good relationship with them, like even officers, right? And not like he's doing bad things and people will just cover for him, but in a positive way to establish relationship with people that they can even recognize him from afar just by looking at his car. This is the guy coming, you know. And I think that's a very good thing to carry along. Like as an immigrant or as a business person, you have to be very authentic and like make connections with people, like relate with people, because that opens up so many doors that you might not even think about, you know.
Yeah, and that's definitely true. Because when I was like doing that unpaid internship, I also had the opportunity to do a paid job. But because I was doing the internship, I was not doing the job like full time, right? I was kind of like doing part time. And I'll say it's a blessing. But for those that don't believe in blessings, I'll say maybe, I mean, it kind of worked out where it was like the law of attraction. It's like you attract the things that your mind is constantly, you know, focused on. Is somehow your steps will lead you there, right? And so, yeah, I was working and also kind of like earning something to can help me keep going. And finally, immediately as I was done with that, I then got an opportunity to apply for a job during COVID, like right at the beginning of COVID when a lot of companies were laying people off, you know, and I applied for a position as an analyst for like a particular software platform, which I was able to learn, you know, how to use based on that part-time job that I had. And so I got a job related to that, not even related to my degree, you know, and so kind of got on just like as an analyst for that platform. And my boss was kind of like monitoring me, like every job that he gave me, he realized that I'll never say, oh, I cannot do it. Like he realized that I was always willing to learn and always taking up tasks. And there was a particular task that he gave me one day, and he thought I could just like get it done immediately. But then he realized I was taking, you know, longer than usual. And then he came over and was like, wait, I thought you'd be done with this. Like, why are you still? And I was kind of like trying to explain to him, and he was like, oh, so you didn't really know how to like do everything? Yeah. And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, okay, let me see what you've done. And he realized that I had made a lot of progress and was like, wow, like you didn't really know how to do it, but like, this is what you've been able to do. I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, like, you know what? This is like a really timely project that we need to get done. So I'll just take it and then like kind of finish up from here. But like next time, if you like don't know something, just let me know. And then from there, it wasn't like he stopped giving me tasks. He kept giving me more tasks. And he kept shifting me from position to position to position, like in different areas, because he realized that I was able to learn real quick. And I'll say that was something that I picked up during my internship. You know, working, it was for a media house in Idaho. And working for them, like I was being given tasks by so many different departments, even in that media house. And I was getting it done for them. And if I had questions, I'll go and ask, and then they'll kind of teach me. And so like those connections helped me to be able to develop that ability to learn really quick. And through that, I was able to get like multiple promotions in my job. And I started off as an analyst, but now I'm more of like the only developer on my team that does integration and also build native applications. Yeah. And I look back and I'm like, I mean, it's amazing. Like, I'm excited that I've gotten to this point. But as you said, yeah, there was definitely challenges, but yeah, it also helped me out.
That's a very successful story. Thanks for sharing that. I think something that most people forget is like, and I think we mentioned this, I think it was Eddie who mentioned this, like during that podcast we talked about leaving home and traveling to different places, that you will definitely miss your culture, you definitely miss family, right? But those are catalysts to progress. They shouldn't like keep you down. Maybe right now you're missing your family, you're missing home. Let me just tell you a story.
There are no catalysts to progress, though. I will disagree with you on that.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
They are not. The family is not catalyst to your progress.
No. I'm saying like the things that you miss.
They are catalyst to progress.
So like how you're feeling, like when you miss your family, right?
Do you miss your family?
I do miss my family.
Is that a catalyst to your progress?
Yes. Because
How?
it inspires me. Why am I sitting here if I can go back to my family?
No, it's that's okay. It's for me. It's not a catalyst to your progress. You know what a catalyst is?
I don't know.
So why are you saying it?
Tell me. No, I want to know what you're thinking.
when you talk about the word catalyst, let me see what ChatGPT says.
No.
Because to me, a catalyst is something that kind of eats into some, like it's, let's say it's like a bacteria.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to know what you're thinking. A catalyst speeds up some reaction.
Okay, so it speeds up a reaction. So
yes,
it's a catalyst to your progress. So it speeds up your progress.
Yeah, so it's an inspiration.
Okay.
Like, think about heat. Like,
Okay.
if you heat something that's cold, it quickly warms up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I left my family in Ghana to come here. And so if I don't have any aim, why am I sitting here?
Okay.
You know? So that's why I said it's a catalyst. Like, it's something that like inspires me. Like,
okay. Now that makes sense to me.
Yeah. That's I should always ask you what you're thinking before I ask you something. But just going off of that, something that I was thinking about, and I will share a story. I didn't know this. Like, I didn't really think about this until I came to this country. I didn't want to come to the US after my mission. I was at University of Mines and Technology. I was having a good time, like with friends, course mates. I was enjoying my program. I was doing geomatic engineering.
You didn't mean to come here, Maza. Yeah.
Seriously.
You get kicked out.
That's why I'm saying, like, I didn't think about this. I didn't know about this, like, because like my whole view was, this is my family. I live here. I go to school. After school, I get a job. But I'll tell you why this is, like, coming here was a blessing in disguise. So, like I mentioned, I didn't want to come here in the first place. I had recently gotten back from LDS mission, so I had spent like 2 years away from my family. I wanted to be with family. And then I went to college in Ghana. I was studying geomatic engineering. I loved it. Like, I was enjoying the program. And then I had a girlfriend too. So I was like, why leave all these things? Why leave all this relationship and go to a place that I don't know anybody there? I'm going to start all over. Like, it was a very mentally tough decision for me to make, to come here. But my mom kept like encouraging me, just go and see how it is. If you don't like it, come back. I'm like, if I'm not gonna like it, then I'm not gonna go in the first place, just not to waste anybody's money. But then I listened to her, and then I came here. It was hard. I came in there like just after winter, so it was cold. That's the first shock. It was cold, but like my visa interview, they didn't even ask me a lot of questions, like 3 questions, and they gave me the visa. So I was like, okay, maybe
they bounced me the first time.
I was like, okay, maybe this is meant to be, you know? When I got here, one family here, I won't mention their names, but they've already prepared a place for me to sleep. I got here like 1 a.m. 1 a.m. They had already prepared a place for me to sleep. They took care of me for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks before I went back to Idaho to go to school. And when I went there, I was kicked out of my apartment because the semester hasn't started yet. And I had to like stay somewhere. And that's how I made friends with the Bertons in Idaho.
Okay.
Then like they've literally become my second family here. But like as I ponder these things that happened in my life, I think about the opportunity that I would have missed if I didn't listen to my mom, if I had like clung so much to my family, like, okay, I'm not going anywhere. This is my family. This is my place. This is where I'll live and die. Just taking that leap of faith And coming here has opened so many opportunities for me. And sometimes that's all it takes, just that leap of faith to say, let me just go and try this out and see, you know. Like I didn't see this place as or it had everything for me, you know. I thought like I can do the same thing back home. But in reality, like comparing things right now, I'm like, whoa, that would have been a tough situation for me, you know. Like it's hard right now to get jobs. Like even people who are qualified to get jobs in Ghana, you will have to start your own job, you know, and sometimes it's hard to penetrate into the market. But here, the economy is well developed. Like the systems are in place that when you're good at what you do, you definitely get something to do, you know. And so, like looking back, I see it as a blessing. Like coming here, learning all these things that I know today, meeting my wife. Like there was no way I could have met my wife if I was in Ghana, you know. The friends that I've made here, like so many things that in perspective, or in perspective, I'm like sometimes you just need to take that leap of faith and just go try something out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and like this will just be kind of like my closing remarks. It's like the last thing that I'll probably contribute to this is, you know, sometimes you sit down and say there are no jobs, there are no opportunities. But one thing that I know is always happening is there are workshops that are going on. Some are free. Take opportunities of those. Like don't sit down and say this is not something that I know how to do, or this is not something that I want to do. Yeah, in the near future that's not what you want to do. But at a time where you don't have what you want, take what comes. You know, get all those certifications that are free. And this, what is more important is not even the job that you'll be doing, but the skills that you gain will stay with you throughout the rest of your life. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And I think that's a very good place to pause this conversation. In the next episode, we are going to invite 2 other people to come and share their stories. So this is just part 1, and it's already a good conversation. Hopefully you learned something from the stories that we shared. Just to give you some data, there was this guy who came here from Turkey. I can't remember his name. He's the owner of Chobani yogurt. I was reading about it. Like I was reading about it, and then if I don't find it, it's gonna bother me. So let me just go and find it. It's okay if it's.
I mean, whilst you're looking for it, I just want to tell our audience, if you also have stories, you know, kind of like similar to us or even different from ours that you want to share as well, kind of let us know about it in the comment section. You know, you don't know who is going to relate to the stories that you share and how that's also going to help inspire others as well. So, yeah, let's hear those stories that you have.
I can't find it. But he came to this country. He didn't even know English. He came from Turkey. And now, and he bought Chobani yogurt. It was like going out of business. And I think that's like $10 billion business.
Hamdi Ulukaya.
Yeah, that's his name. So that's just one example. There are so many people who came to this country, established themselves. And so maybe you don't have to travel outside your country of origin. Maybe you do. But when you go, carry everything that you've learned in life with you and make it happen. Just like we've mentioned, if you have something that you want to start, don't waste time. Just go and give it a try. If it doesn't work out, you never know the blessings that will come from it. You might start your own business, employ other people, and that's a huge thing that we can all do. So as I asked you before, if you wake up in a country that you didn't even have Nobody, no contacts, no money. What is one thing that you would do to become successful? And this has been the Success Mindset podcast. Today I was here with Kenneth, and my name is Smith. We'll talk about this again. There's a part 2, so just hang tight.
See you guys.